Welcome everyone. In this session, we'll explore malaria in detail, from its pathogenesis and clinical features to diagnosis, treatment, and prevention. Introduction. Malaria remains one of the world's most important parasitic diseases. It's transmitted through the bite of an infected female Anopheles mosquito and continues to affect millions globally. Despite major progress, eradication remains a major global health challenge. Causative agents. 5 Plasmodium species infect humans. P. falciparum causes the most severe disease. P. vivax and P. ovale can relapse because of dormant liver stages called hypnozoites. P. malariae may persist for years, and P. knowlesi is a zoonotic infection found in Southeast Asia. Life cycle of Plasmodium. After the mosquito bite, sporozoites enter the bloodstream and invade liver cells. They multiply to form merozoites that infect red blood cells, producing the characteristic fever cycles. Some parasites become gametocytes, which are taken up by mosquitoes to continue transmission. Pathogenesis. The pathogenesis of malaria involves a complex interaction between the parasite, the human host, and the immune system. Infection and entry. When an infected female Anopheles mosquito bites a human, it injects Plasmodium sporozoites into the bloodstream. Within minutes, these sporozoites travel to the liver, where they invade liver cells, called hepatocytes. Liver stage. Inside hepatocytes, the sporozoites multiply asexually to form thousands of merozoites. This stage is silent, there are no clinical symptoms yet. In the case of Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ovale, some parasites remain dormant as hypnozoites, capable of reactivating later and causing relapses. Blood stage. After the liver cells burst, the merozoites enter the bloodstream and invade red blood cells. Inside red cells, they develop through distinct stages, from ring form to trophozoite to schizont, before the red cells rupture, releasing new merozoites to infect more cells. This cycle of invasion, replication, and cell rupture produces the periodic fever patterns typical of malaria. Clinical manifestations. The destruction of red blood cells causes anemia. The spleen enlarges as it clears infected and damaged cells. Patients experience fever, chills, and rigors during each cycle of parasite release. Severe malaria. In Plasmodium falciparum infection, the situation becomes more dangerous. Infected red cells express sticky proteins on their surface, making them adhere to the walls of small blood vessels. This process, known as sequestration, leads to blockage of blood flow, tissue hypoxia, and organ failure. When this happens in the brain, it results in cerebral malaria, a medical emergency that can cause seizures, coma, and death. Immune response and outcome. The body mounts an immune response involving macrophages and inflammatory cytokines, such as tumor necrosis factor and interleukin-1. These substances cause fever and malaise, but also contribute to tissue damage. With effective treatment, the parasites are cleared and the patient recovers. Without treatment, severe complications or chronic infection may occur. Clinical features. Patients typically present with periodic fever, chills, and sweating. Severe malaria involves organ dysfunction, especially brain, kidneys, and liver, and can be rapidly fatal if untreated. Complications include cerebral malaria, severe anemia, renal failure, respiratory distress, and metabolic derangements. Pregnant women are particularly vulnerable. Diagnosis. A Giemsa-stained blood smear remains the gold standard. Rapid antigen tests aid quick detection, and PCR is used in reference laboratories for species identification. Principles of treatment. Early treatment saves lives. Artemisinin-based combination therapies, or ACTs, are now the cornerstone of management worldwide. First-line treatment. This table summarizes who recommended first-line regimens. P. Falciparum and P. Knowlesi require ACT. P. Vivax and P. Ovail use chloroquine followed by primaquine to prevent relapse. Detailed ACT regimens. 4 ACT options are commonly used. Artemether-lumefantrine is widely available and effective. Piperacquine combinations offer convenient once-daily dosing. Choice depends on local resistance and patient tolerance. Treatment of P. Vivax and P. Ovail. To prevent relapse, P. Vivax and P. Ovail require radical cure with primaquine for 14 days. Always test for G6PD deficiency because primaquine can cause hemolysis. Severe malaria management. Severe malaria is an emergency. Intravenous artesunate is life-saving and should be followed by oral ACT. If unavailable, intravenous quinine may be used with cardiac and glucose monitoring. Mechanism of action. Pharmacology. Artemisinin act rapidly by forming free radicals. Chloroquine and quinine disrupt heme detoxification. Primaquine acts on dormant liver stages, and atovaquone, proguanil, inhibits parasite mitochondrial function. Special populations. Treatment must be individualized. ACTs are safe later in pregnancy, but quinine with clindamycin is preferred early on. Children need accurate weight-based dosing, and primaquine must be avoided in G6PD deficiency. Vaccination. To malaria, vaccines are now approved. RTS-S, the first licensed vaccine, and R21 Matrix-M with higher efficacy. Vaccines reduce incidence but must be combined with mosquito control and chemoprophylaxis. Prevention and control. Prevention relies on vector control, environmental management, and prophylactic drugs for travelers. Consistent net use and community awareness remain key to eliminate. Key takeaways. In summary, remember the species differences, ACT as the cornerstone, primaquine for relapse prevention, and artesunate for severe disease. Combined strategies are essential for global elimination. Thank you for joining this detailed session on malaria. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more medical learning content.